Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We've got news. Some may be happy, some may be sad, but we don't care because we're here to bring you the transfer news as soon as it lands. And there's some hot news that's just come off the press now. I'm sure Steve's going to enlighten us with some deeper information into the transfer news that we already know. And of course, there's like contract renewals, done deals, the lot. All right, so get your cup of tea ready, stick your feet up because we're going to be here for a time to enlighten you with the transfer news that's going on now. And we have none other than the transfer man himself, Steve, Chief Scout. Okay, how you doing, Steve?
I'm fantastic, Kieran. Really enjoying this window. Some big transfers already happened. And I can tell you people there's some big ones to come.
Yeah, there certainly is. All right, let's get it started because we need to crack on. All right. So first of all, we dropped this news the other day and it's been confirmed as such on vetoed, a Dutch outlet. Liverpool have held talks with Belgium and Rennes star Jérémy Doku about a move to Anfield, and it was thought that Liverpool would sign Doku next season after previously speaking to Ligue 1 club Rennes. However, Rennes needing funds and Liverpool wanting the player sooner, an offer of 40 million is set to go in a not too distant future. It's a deal that's likely to suit both parties. There was a bit of noise from people saying the Rennes owner is very rich, so he doesn't need money. That's not how football works. It's the reason why owners don't just stick their hand in their pocket and throw out a load of cash, especially when the French league got hit so badly by the transfer deal that fell through. They're currently who's owning? Oh, that's it. Uber Eats, not even Canal Plus. I think it's the Uber Eats French league at the moment, isn't it? If I can stand corrected. And they're currently actually only taking 25% of the initial revenue that they were meant to be taking in when they previously signed that original deal. So that tells you how much French clubs are in trouble. Even PSG had to rethink their books last season, and PSG don't have to rethink for anyone. So if PSG are thinking potentially that they were struggling last season, like it tells you that these other smaller clubs, no matter how rich their chairman is or owners are, they're gonna struggle a bit. And we have to remember, we can always say that a certain owner's rich. Tell me an owner of a football club that's not rich. Tell me an owner of a football club that's not rich and he's not an owner of a football club. I'll tell you that right now. They're all rich, and that's why they own football clubs. Steve, is there any more news on the Jérémy Doku deal? Is it something you can see happening?
It's something I can see happening. Our sources told us about it about a week and a half ago. That Liverpool had further talks with Jérémy Doku's agent. We've known for a while that he's been interested, and they come very, very close to signing Jérémy Doku. Last summer. I mean, there was literally moments away. He's looking for a replacement for Mane, or not so much a replacement, but backup for Mane. He's the deal. You've already said the price, 40 million. We had, like you said, on our account, people saying this ain't going to happen and it's a load of rubbish. Yeah, Rennes don't need the money. Rennes do need the money. Kieran, you've already explained why they need it. They've also got the big problem with the television money over there. Every single French club is desperate for money this season. And look, Jérémy Doku is a fantastic player, and he's a big fan. And Klopp wants him at Liverpool. We know Klopp wants him at Liverpool. So this one is very possible that this is going to happen in a few weeks.
Yeah, and a bit of a backstory on that. Jérémy Doku did nearly sign for Liverpool when he was younger as well. He had a tour of the stadium. However, a call from Romelu Lukaku that's basically essentially said, it's not the right move now. You'll be a bigger star in Anderlecht, and you will get that move eventually. And he was right. Jérémy Doku could quite easily have been a player that went to Liverpool at the age of 16 or 17, and just faltered away. Just didn't really get the game time that he needed. I mean, look at the players that are in front of him: Mane, Salah, Firmino. Well, not really Firmino, but Mane and Salah. So you've got to try and dislodge those players or bide your time for those players. And in that time, you're not developing as a player because you're not getting the required game time that you need. However, you go to a club like Anderlecht. He made his move from Anderlecht. Stepping stone was Rennes. And it's a smart move. And that's where I think a lot of footballers are starting to think smarter now. It's not necessarily about making that big move now because if your talent's good enough, you will eventually find that big move. I mean, the list is endless with the players that have done that. The likes of Dominic Szoboszlai, Haaland, Jadon Sancho. Although he was at Man City previously, but he moved to get that game time. It's all about getting game time and development. And if you back yourself, you'll come through.
One thing I'd like just to make clear to our viewers watching tonight, I had a text come through my Twitter page via my DMs, and they said, "See what I was talking about? PSG have gone and bought Lionel Messi." Let me tell you, people, Lionel Messi is a steal for PSG. That is an incredible sign. That's going to cost them 100 million. 100 million to PSG with them in the Champions League is absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they'll make that back in.
Steal.
It's Lionel Messi. How much are you going to make on shirt sales alone? There'll be non-PSG fans out there buying Lionel Messi shirts. We'll get onto Lionel Messi in a second. Liverpool midfielder Xherdan Shaqiri is very close to joining Lyon. Liverpool is set to settle the small fee for the Swiss international. Brentford completed the signing of Congo winger Yanni Wissa from French club Lorient on a 4-year deal. Crystal Palace news. Nathaniel Klein has signed a new contract with Crystal Palace. And now for the Arsenal news. Arsenal is still waiting for a bid to come in with the Spanish giants Atletico Madrid for the French striker Alexandre Lacazette. Personal terms are a problem as he's not willing to cut his 180 grand a week wages. It's not a shock.
No, we've known this for a long while, haven't we? We've known this for a long while. This has been the problem with Alexandre Lacazette. He seems to be happy just to put his feet up and collect the 180 grand a week. Would we all do the same? Maybe, maybe we would. So maybe we shouldn't judge him too harshly. But you still thought that he would have that pride as to, give it all in the shirt. And it is simply that they just can't. Apart from Atletico Madrid, who are literally saying 12 million, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing on Alexandre Lacazette. This is a problem for Arsenal. It is a massive problem for Arsenal. If you're wondering why players ain't being signed at the moment, he is the main reason why, because of the wages that he's earning. Yeah.
He's 30 years of age. The next deal will be his last deal. So I just don't see him going. He's not going to cut that. He's not going to cut that 180 grand a week wages. And if you're a 30-year-old and you could get signed next season on a 2-3 year deal, probably most likely if it's Atletico Madrid on a 3-year deal with the amount of money they're going to save on the transfer fee, he'd get that 180 grand a week again. So he ain't a silly boy. His agent ain't silly. And freebies are generally the way to go if you want the big money contracts and you're coming towards the latter end of your career. So I fully expect Lacazette to be an Arsenal player by the end of this transfer window.
Yeah.
Reports are surfacing that Arsenal contacted Chelsea over the sign of Tammy Abraham. Steve, you confirmed yes. However, they have as we both just said, they will need to sell the likes of Willian and Lacazette before they can get any offensive signings.
That's one I'm surprised by. But what I'm even more surprised by is that Arsenal fans that are watching in, Arsenal want Tammy Abrahams. They want to bring him. If they can get rid of William, if they can get rid of Lacazette, they will bring in Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, I think they see it as a smart signing for 40 million. I think they probably feel that with his talent, the ceiling that he's got of how good a player he can be, I think they feel that 40 million is something that they would be able to at least recoup back if they were to sell him on in the future, especially at his age. And I probably have to agree. If you could get 20 goals a season out of Tammy Abrahams for a few seasons and then went to sell him, if the football world financially is back to what it was, I could see Arsenal probably recouping a 35 to 40 million back on Tammy Abrahams if they were to sell him on in the future, if not more, depending on how well he does. Arsenal are still keeping an eye on Martin Ødegaard. He's always been the main target for Arsenal as number 10. And if he decides to leave Real Madrid and Real Madrid decide to sell him, Arsenal will bid for Odegaard. With the news is coming out is Odegaard's not happy at the moment. And with the likes of Casemiro, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Federico Valverde, and even Isco ahead of him. And I even read something today where Dani Ceballos was ahead of him as well, if not for his injury at the Olympics. You can see why Odegaard would potentially want to go, and if he's getting that feeling while he's at Real Madrid.
Yeah. Well, there's no secret that, Arteta loves Martin Ødegaard, and Martin Ødegaard loved his time at Arsenal. He sort of, not faltered is not the right word, but maybe he tailed off a little bit towards the end of his time at Arsenal. But when you're going back to another club and your club's turned around and said you're not staying there, it must be a very difficult, to get into the right frame of mind to play your football. But look, I've said it from day one. Martin Ødegaard is Arsenal's number one target. We've said it on the page since day one. Now everybody's coming round now to believe that it is Arsenal's number one target. Yeah.
Are they? Bloody hell. You could have fooled me. The amount of people that are talking about another page, which you won't mention, and how that page is said that James Maddison is 100% the number one target.
This is the same page that said that Joe Willock wasn't going to Newcastle and Arsenal would never agree a fee of that amount of money for Joe Willock. So,
really? Yeah. I try not to keep an eye on them pages. But again, these people get excited when the news is in their favour, innit? And they forget about everything else.
One thing I'd just like to say, to people, have your own mind. Look into things deeply. Don't get fooled by what certain accounts do on certain pages. I'm not saying these accounts are bad accounts, but all accounts get things wrong. And if this guy that we're talking about at the moment gets things wrong, fair enough, because it happens. This is the transfer world. But Martin Ødegaard is the number one. He's always been number one, not James Maddison. And even James Maddison is even named his baby boy now after Leicester City. So with the fact that they want £70 million, sometimes you don't even have to read things from other accounts. Just put it in your own head and have a think and use your own common sense. Look, I'm an Arsenal fan. If Maddison comes to Arsenal, I'm over the moon. So, but you have to look at it, in a little bit of reality. But going back to Martin Ødegaard, we said last week that we were hearing that the deal was going to come in for 40 million. It did come in for that. 40 million euro, by the way, so it's 35 million pound.
Mhm.
And what we're just waiting on now, we're waiting on Odegaard to make his final decision.
I think if Real Madrid are going to offer him for £35 million, I think we've got to snap their hand off. I don't think we've got to be messing around there. That's I think that 35 million's money well spent. I don't understand the.
Yeah, I've heard from from sources in Spain that Martin Ødegaard wants to hang it out and he wants to find out whether he is whether he is a first team material, whether he's starting first team football, and so it might draw out a bit. So yeah, but look, make no mistake, he's the number one. I don't know why everyone is turning all the hate on Martin Ødegaard all of a sudden. I mean, a little few weeks ago when he was playing for Arsenal, everyone thought he was the best things at sliced bread, and now all of a sudden, because James Maddison gets mentioned, who I'd love at Arsenal as well, but to be honest with you, I'd still rather have Odegaard for 30 million less. They're all turning on the guy.
We will get onto that in the Arsenal show. I want that as one of the subjects in the Arsenal show, so we will save that, Steve, because I've already done the poster for it. But because it is an odd one. It's an odd one, and it's not the first time it's happened. So maybe it's a mentality thing. Maybe it's the Emperor's new coat. It does feel a bit like that. But we will get onto that in the Arsenal show, a new show that's coming to you this week. You should get it, or this week you'll be recording it. So it will drop very, very soon. Another deal that's looking like it's going to be happening is Arsenal are closing in on a deal for Aaron Ramsdale. Is that in the region of about 30 odd million?
Yeah, I mean Sheffield United want 32. Arsenal, we're getting told that Arsenal have already put in for 25. I've been told that they want Aaron Ramsdale big time. We mentioned him last week. That Arsenal were interested in. It's got a little bit more than interested in there. There's been further talks. He's a decent goalkeeper, player of the year twice for Sheffield United, and what we're hearing from a few different publications is that Leno probably would leave next season.
Okay.
So Ramsdale was coming this season to see if he can win his place this season, but the chances of that Leno won't go this season. He won't leave this season. He's not going anywhere. But the chances of him leaving less next season are very high.
All right. Arsenal, Tottenham, and Everton are in talks with for a transfer of Dennis Zakora of Borussia Mönchengladbach. Talk of a £40 million deal has to be farcical after an injury ruled him out for part of the season, bad form, and with the Swiss international only having a year left on his contract, and themselves saying that he is very unlikely to sign an extension. We will look into that a bit more. Christian Falk dropped that news this morning, so we will chase that up since we've got a few good contacts in Germany ourselves. Manchester United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjær has vetoed a move for striker Anthony Martial after Inter inquired about a move to replace Chelsea-bound Romelu Lukaku, with the Italian clubs wanting to take the French forward on loan next season. Swansea have agreed a deal to sign Manchester United defender Ethan Laird on a season-long loan. Tottenham officially confirmed, as Steve said, finally, Christian Romero.
About 3 weeks ago.
Romero joins Tottenham with a permanent deal for €55 million, a contract which has been signed until June 2026. He only wanted Spurs, and Fabio Patrici has already signed him previously at Juventus. So he's signing players that he knows It seems like the director of football there is doing bits there. Can't lie. Although there was a bit of hoo-ha about the management, the managerial issues, it didn't seem. I saw things which it wasn't him. It was very much a Levy thing. I feel like maybe they didn't agree on the appointments and the people that he brought in to sort of with an eye for taking over as managers. Levy didn't get on with. So yeah, that seems to be the issue there. Spurs and Aston Villa are set to prepare a bid for a move for Southampton captain James Ward-Prowse. That news hit about 25 minutes ago. So yeah, we will keep on the pulse for that one. More Southampton / Leicester news. Southampton have accepted an offer for Leicester defender Vanik Vestergaard. Again, that news just dropped earlier, well, before we come on the pod. Lionel Messi has left Barcelona and completed a move to French giants PSG. Steve, you know a bit more about the deal, the reason why Lionel Messi left Barcelona. Could you fill people in that don't know about that?
Well, it's very complicated, but the reason why it was, well, 2 days ago he was signing a new contract, and then when the Barcelona's president went over and they do their wagely things, and they literally basically just could not afford to keep Lionel Messi at Barcelona. It was simple as that. And what happened was he offered to cut his wages in half by 50%, which he did, and they still refused. So that was a bit the mystery why. You've heard a lot of people in Spain and some people in this country saying that he should be playing for nothing. Just stop it, please.
What?
Shut up.
What sort of nonsense is that?
Talking rubbish and all that. People say, he's a millionaire, he's a billionaire. If you love
so
Barcelona,
what Barcelona? Barcelona aren't gonna make money from Lionel Messi playing. Yeah,
I mean, you see how upset he was. I mean, I watched his, his interview, of his leaving Barcelona live, and I thought I was going to, and it got me, and it did get me. I thought that ain't going to get me. I'm just listening to Lionel Messi, but it did, and you could see he was absolutely gutted that he was leaving. I don't think he expected he was going to leave. I think Aguero came thinking that that Messi was going to be his mate there, and they was going to play together. And it was as simple as that. Is I'm not too sure of the ins and outs and the way the Spanish league works, but the simple fact was that the Liga could not afford to keep Lionel Messi's and his wages. I hear that the actual league is done differently from over here. It's done a little bit more, a bit more harder to work out than what it is over here. But it's going to be fun, isn't it? To see him, playing for PSG in that side.
I mean, let's just go through the likely lineup quickly before we move on to the next story. Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. Marquinhos centre back with Sergio Ramos. They've put Kimpembe at left back, but it's more likely to be Barnett.
Hernandez.
Is Hernandez? Yeah. Hernandez, is he not?
Is he Bayern Munich?
Oh, it's Bayern Munich, that's it. Hakimi at right back with Gini Wijnaldum and Verratti in the centre of midfield. The likes of Angel Di Maria, Messi, Neymar, and Kylian Mbappe up top. I mean, if you don't want to watch the French league next season, then you need a lobotomy. You're absolutely mental, because that team is fire. All right. Romelu Lukaku completed his move to Chelsea, an 115 million euro move. It's pretty much very close to the fee that I think both Nima and Carlo both mentioned a while back. That if they were to sell, that would be the price. Which has surprised me about another story that I heard, which involved this one, Martinez. How did I miss that? Tottenham agreed a fee with Inter Milan over Martinez, and it was set to be 60 million. And then, I mean, later on, Fabrizio Romano said that that's not the case. But how's that fit? How's 60 million? That's crazy.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously he doesn't score the goals that Romelu Lukaku scores. It was true, because I've had it from top sources, and I don't care if it's Fabrizio Romano or anybody. Our Italian sources are the top, and there was an offer, and there was an agreement for Martinez to go to Spurs. They still want to keep Harry Kane. They still want to keep him at the club, and they wanted to bring Martinez in to play up front with him.
Yeah, that's a statement, isn't it? That's a statement for Harry Kane.
Because these other players are just not as well as the sporting director's done, or as what Nuno's done since he come in with the signings. This would be like you just said, Kieran, that this would be the statement one. But listen, look, I don't know. How many times I have to say this, and we always come back to it on a further show or it's been put on the page. It was agreed that Martinez was going to Spurs, and it was a 60 million agreement. And look, I was having a chat with our friend Nima a couple of days ago. We was talking about Conte. We was having a talk about Inter, and the subject came up about him, why he left. And this is why he left, because he had a meeting with, is it Stephen Yang? Is it, or Zhang? Or some, the Inter Milan owner. And he said, I'm selling all my players. I'm getting rid of them. So don't. Yeah, because I think even on a further show before that one, I think I think it was the Inter Milan show. Did we do an Italian show?
No, but we had Carlo on, and I asked him a question about are they going to sell their players? And I asked Nima the same question, and he said the players are up for sale, but at the price they want to sell, which surprised me with regards to the price that they were willing to sell Martinez on, and then also, it just surprised me. It just surprised me.
We put on the page that if Martinez, were going to be sold, Conte will leave. Now, before any of those three have been sold,
he left.
Conte had left. He left
because he knew.
We all went, oh, hold on a minute. Now something's good. Now something's going to happen here. First, it was Hakimi. We had it first on our page before absolutely anybody. We had the Hakimi going to PSG because we knew that he was going to PSG, because we had the information about Conte that he was leaving if Hakimi was sold. So we had that one first. And I think we just kept retweeting it for about 3 weeks, just to remind you all. But we all know it gets the credit in the end. But going on from that, now it's Lukaku. And look, listen, don't put Martinez leaving out the question, because they are in debt and they need money.
Yep. Him leaving is not the thing that surprises me. It's the price. This is a player they were looking to sell at double that price last season, and now you're getting them 50% off. Half. Antonio Rudiger's interest from Real Madrid and PSG. No way. Surely not. PSG again. which if it were to materialise, would lead the way to Jules Koundé coming in, especially after comments from current Seville director of football Monchi, who said if the right fee comes in, they will sell. They will sell Jules Koundé. There's no beating around the bush, and he said because that is how they fund the club and progress essentially. That's how they make a better team.
Ain't it a breath of fresh air? You know, we love all our owners or our sporting directors to come out and say, yeah, this is true because this is the way we go. This is the way we roll. Now, we may not like it. We may well like it, but it's refreshing.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get that at clubs. I mean, Seville do that. Ajax do that because they know because they've already got someone lined up. Like, they've already got someone lined up, whether that's from the youth academy or whether that's someone they've kept an eye on at a smaller club. Yeah. And they know that they've got to progress. They know that that's how they get better as a club. They know how they keep afloat. So, yeah, you're right. It is refreshing. And Monchi is a well-known, very highly regarded director of football, who even Arsenal were potentially looking at one point. Roma have agreed a fee with Chelsea over Tammy Abraham, but they are waiting for the players' approval. Any more on that, Steve?
Again, true story. They've agreed a fee. They've agreed a fee with Chelsea. They've agreed a fee with Arsenal, and it's literally sort of down to the player. At the moment, it looks more likely that he would have go to Roma. The only problem is there that he doesn't want to go to Roma. So Roma doesn't want to go. So Roma wants him, and he don't want to go. The prices, everything is agreed. Arsenal, on the other hand, they both want each other. A fee has been agreed. Tammy Abraham now does want to go to play for Arsenal, but Arsenal at the moment have not got the funds to pay for that Tammy Abraham to bring him to Arsenal until other players are sold.
Yeah. Which then ties into the next story of Edin Dzeko has completed his medical day ahead of a move to Inter Milan. Obviously, Roma need a replacement, which is why they're going for Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham wants to stay in the country. It's understandable, and probably doesn't want to be managed by Jose Mourinho, which has got to be a part in it. Because if you mess up under Jose Mourinho, there's no coming back. It's it's a mountain.
He wants to stay in London, Tammy Abraham. So there's Arsenal, there's Chelsea, and there's Tottenham. Chelsea and Tottenham don't do business with each other, people. They just don't. So there's Arsenal, but again, this is transfer window at the moment. It's just it's a strange one. But Arsenal can't afford at the moment. Need to move players on. Arsenal can't buy anybody at the moment until they move players on.
Yeah. And it seems like Liverpool are pretty much doing the same thing, keeping it very quiet. And I'm sure towards the end of the transfer window, they will start moving. But I mean, Liverpool could be another team that needs to be careful because they had just about scraped top 4 last season, and even then they brought players in. I'm sure they will bring players in, but it's coming up to that crunch time, and it's actually not too long. It's 20 days until the transfer window closes. The countdown begins. All right, did you have any more for me, Steve?
No, mate. I think you covered it all. I think we covered absolutely everything there, mate.
All right. As I said,
as we go, this will be more.
Yeah. As I said, there will be shows coming up. There's new shows, the Man United show, the Arsenal show. We're going to be bringing you transfer exclusives as soon as they drop in individual videos. We're going to be bringing you all sorts of new stuff, people. Trust me. The brand new look is coming. Thursday, 12 p.m, midnight, you will see a brand new looking KS1 TV, transfer exchange, and new shows added to the bill. All right, thank you very much for tonight, Steve.
You're welcome, Kieran. Been a pleasure as always.
All right, and thank you for everyone who's been watching. Well, obviously when you're watching, because this ain't live. But yeah, as I say every week, if you've got a team, that we're not covering, hit us up in the comment section. Give us a dig in the ribs and tell us to sort it out, please. Tony, Wigan Tony, we will be getting you some news. Trust me. Trust me. If we do not come out of this transfer window, without news for Wigan Tony, I'm not hosting anymore. All right, Steve, the pressure's on. All right,
yeah, the pressure's
on. This has got to be some exclusive news for Wigan Tony. All right, yeah. So people,
I missed the Jamie Carragher one to Wigan. Sorry about
that. His son was it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't get them all, people. We can't get them all. But as I said, thank you for joining us, people. Peace out. Stay safe. Press a like button and wash your hands.